We'll just run through how ModeScore fits into the E, the S and the G. The obvious one, environmental, right? By providing people with options around sustainable transport solutions, you're obviously going to reduce emissions from reliance on privately owned vehicles a lot of the time, right? By making these sustainable options easier to make, it means that this reliance on private vehicles will inevitably be reduced.
And this is something that will be quantified within the reports as well, because the Clean Air Calculator highlights the change to sustainable transport. So within every ModeScore certification, you'll receive a sort of quantifiable tracker, looking at the performance of the sustainable transport successes.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Moving on to the social. So ModeScore empowers property owners and developers to transform their buildings into sustainable mobility hubs for all. What we've been talking about internally a lot is the spider web effect of behavioural change when linked to sustainable transportation. So a lot of the times what we find is with sustainable transportation, you directly impact people's choices when they choose to go from one place to another. Regardless of what building you occupy or own or are developing, you still expect people to get to your building for whatever reason that may be. It might be work, it might be leisure, it might be education, whatever the reason is, you still to live, you still expect someone to travel to that building. By addressing their behavioural habits through sustainable travel options, you can have this wider network of change, which is what we are trying to tap into through ModeScore, as opposed to trying to address the sustainability credentials of this individual building within the four walls. We're trying to see outside of the four walls and try and focus on how these buildings can have an impact on a global scale.
And on the wider community.
Yeah.
Not just obviously the individual tenants within that said building. Because ultimately that's what sustainability in real estate currently is focused on, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think that's where the concept of for any building anywhere comes from. The fact that whether you are the flagship standalone exceptional building or you are a retail unit or a logistics park or a retail park, it doesn't really matter because people will have to travel to that asset. So by focusing on how people do that and trying to make that as sustainable as possible, it means that you are allowing an option for any building in any location. That is what we're trying to get across with ModeScore.